Hello, good morning. Oh, well, I'll just say it anyway. It is a good morning while we get this image sorted out. Hello, everyone. There we are. Hi, I'm sure you're all lovely today. We're doing our best to look lovely for you. Welcome to the UFC Fight Island 4, Holm versus Irene Aldana, official morning weigh-ins. I am Alexander K. Lee, joined by Mike Heck, as you can see, Casey Leiden, and of course, our man on the scene, Jose Young. Say hi, Jose.
What's up, guys? Can you guys hear me this time?
Yeah,
we hear you fine.
sounds like Jose's coming in loud and
Bless.
clear. So we will have weigh-ins beginning shortly, and then all the chitter-chatter analysis that you guys are used to. Feel free to throw questions in the chat. We will probably get to them later, probably after the first rush of weigh-ins. But again, we got our man in the truck, Casey, keeping an eye on things. So if you have a compelling question, you don't need to spam it, but maybe toss it in there every now and then, and we'll touch upon it later. How are we doing this morning, Mike? How are you doing?
Doing great. It's
Sir, it's 5 in the afternoon.
Yes, it is 9 a.m. here, and it is cold and rainy and dreary. It's typical October day here in Massachusetts.
Oh, horrible. I just mean Massachusetts and the New England area in general.
No,
not necessarily, and regardless of season. Casey, you're of course in beautiful, scenic California. How are you doing, sir?
Inglewood is doing well. I think that's how the saying goes. So
yeah,
Inglewood is doing well. So I'm good. Got my coffee.
We are
and,
just. Yeah. Inglewood is just fine. Yeah. I think that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And Jose, how are you doing? Tell people again, what time is it over there in Abu Dhabi?
It is 5 p.m. local time here on Yas Island. And as I say that, I see a few fighters scuffling about behind the glass door. Can't quite see who it is because they have strategically placed signs saying like wear masks at like eye level. So basically you can see from their chest down. I can't see who it is, but I see some fighters lining up already.
So it's even more difficult to recognize fighters?
100%, mask and all.
Okay, I'm just saying out of
also,
fiery tweet right now.
Before anyone asks, like, oh, you could probably see their legs, you can see what color their skin is. Nope, they're wearing pants.
Guys, people, this is on-site analysis that you're getting right now. You don't get this from us sitting at home in our butts, all right? Jose Young's bringing you the hard stuff. We'll be beginning shortly, guys, and we'll shut our yaps for you.
You should be going. Everyone's getting out here now, so should be ready to go. Before you ask, no, I don't think it's John Anik. John Anik is not here, by the way.
Oh, no.
He won't be reading. I think he went home. I think he's coming back for the pay-per-view, though.
You got Brandon Fitz.
I believe it's Brandon Fitzgerald and Dan Hardy. I think do commentary, but it is neither one reading the names today.
Thank you for coming out to UFC Fight Night Holm versus
all right.
The official weigh-ins. Our first fighter to the scale in the featherweight division, Josh Kulabo. $145.5, the official weight for Josh Kulabo.
145.5 for those people at home.
That was Josh Kulabo, our first guy. Who had Josh Kulabo on their weigh-in first card? Mike, you were predicting that, right?
No, I did not. I did not.
Did you know Josh Kulabo was fighting on this card? Is really my other question.
I did. This is one of the fights I'm looking forward to.
You know why he did? Because he was at Media Day, and we had an excellent interview with him.
Division, please welcome Dequan Townsend. 186, the official weight for Dequan Townsend.
186 for the tarantula. Dequan Townsend.
Is he also the tarantula? We have two tarantulas?
I believe so.
It's true.
It works. It works. It suits him.
Of course, that man fighting with a very heavy heart this week.
Yes.
That's to say
Next
it
up
very
to the
lightly.
scale in the heavyweight division, Carlos Levy. £263, the official weight for Carlos Felipe.
263 for Carlos Felipe.
Carlos Felipe, 263. Heavyweight getting in early. I love it. We appreciate it. It's good to see.
Was that 263?
263.
Next up to the scale in the bantamweight division, Cameron Ellis.
God damn.
Cameron Else.
£136, the official weight for Cameron Ellis.
136. That was the most painful tattoo I've ever seen. Looking at that tattoo.
What was it? What was it, Jose? What was that tattoo?
Of a lion with a bloody mouth.
Our
across
next
his
fighter
entire
to
stomach.
the scale in the welterweight division, Court McGee.
All right, Court McGee coming up next.
$170.5 for Court McGee.
170.5 for Court McGee.
Court McGee, former Ultimate Fighter winner. He's a veteran. No issues making weight there. Never has been. No surprises there. Successful hit for Court McGee.
UFC veteran Ramsey Nijum is in his corner. He's waiting with his shaker off camera.
Next up to the scale in the middleweight division, Jordan Williams. £182, the official weight for Jordan Williams.
Jose, was that 182?
I believe so, yes.
It is.
Well then. well under the middleweight limit for Jordan Williams.
Not surprising.
Looks like he could. Yeah, it looks like he could get down to 170.
Is he a welter normally, Mike?
No, he's typically a middleweight. For his Contender Series fight, he weighed in at 181, but he did it on purpose.
Also in the middleweight division, Dusko Todorovic.
Okay, we'll touch on some of these threads that you
Yes.
brought up, Mike. Thanks for mentioning that. We got Dusko Todorovic now.
Contender Series winner.
Yes,
I was
another one.
actually at his Contender Series fight.
I like the name Dusko. That's pretty
Yeah.
badass.
£186, the official weight for Dusko Todorovic.
186 for Dusko Todorovic, who's doing his thesis on like event stuff, and he's putting together a presentation on how to hold a mixed martial arts event back in Serbia. That is what
Smart.
And
Very
he
smart.
said he's doing it the right way because he could call into the UFC and get all this like insider stuff, but he's focusing on training right now, and he'll worry about that after.
Our next fighter to the scale in the women's strawweight division, Lola Lipumi.
Loma Lukbunmi up next. Very, very exciting fighter to watch. I think this will just be her second UFC appearance. Am I right?
I believe you're right.
Third. I'm sorry, third.
Is it third?
She fought.
Yeah.
Yep. I apologize. Third.
£116, the official weight for Lola Lipumi.
116 for Loma.
I'm pretty confident she is the smallest atom weight in the UFC.
I would also.
She is.
Atomweight?
I'm sorry,
Strawweight.
she's the smallest straw weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't atom
She's
weight.
she's not that big of an atom weight actually either.
No.
Also, I would say the most well-known Loma in combat sports. I think when people say Loma, they mean Loma
in the heavyweight
Lukbunmi.
division.
The first thing comes to my mind.
Fall River Zone, Jorgen De Castro up next.
The co-main event, Jorgen De Castro.
£261 for Jorgen De Castro.
261 for Jorgen De Castro. Fall River Zone.
261. We got big heavyweights. I like that. We got the big heavyweight boys.
This is the biggest change in between fighters, back-to-back fighters that weigh in from Loma Lukbunmi to Jorgen De Castro.
Has to be.
It's up there.
161, yeah. Can't get much bigger.
Next fighter to the scale in the welterweight division, Carlos Condit.
And BK, natural born killer now. Carlos Condit.
Former Rumble on the Rock veteran.
Mm-hmm. His first fight since December 2018.
$171, the official weight for Carlos Condit.
171 for the natural born killer. Seen him out jogging a whole lot here on Yaz Island.
He seemed to be he seemed to be in very good spirits on media day. Very, very laid back, relaxed. Yeah. He's making
I think
his...
Jermaine Durandam is up next.
Our next fighter to the scale in the
Sparkle
women's
Jr.
bantamweight division, Irene Aldana.
Durandam, of course, fighting Juliana Pena on a key main card contenders fight.
£136, the official weight for the number 1 ranked Jermaine Durandam.
136.
136? Okay, just want to make sure I heard that right. Jermaine Durandam fighting Juliana Pena. Again, a big fight. I will probably refer to it multiple times as the co-main event.
Men's bantamweight division, Kyler Phillips.
Kyler Phillips up next, but Jermaine Durandam versus Juliana Pena is not the co-main event. Jurgen De Castro versus Carlos Felipe is the actual co-main event. But just expect me to make that flub several times today. But now we have Kyler Phillips.
£136, the official weight for Kyler Phillips.
136, Kyler Phillips.
So we have an easy peasy time at the weigh-in so far. No issues so far.
Standby.
Oh, really? That's early. Okay, let's see who we have left here. We're still waiting for our oh no, Irene Aldana weighed in, right? No, she didn't. No. Fake news. I apologize. No, we are still waiting for our headliners, Holly Holm and Irene Aldana. But co-headliners, heavyweights, Jurgen De Castro, Carlos Felipe have weighed in. We just saw Jermaine Durandam. And also on the main card, Dequan Townsend and Dusko Todorovic both weighed in, as did Kyler Phillips and Cameron Else. So just waiting for our headliners and Juliana Pena on the main card. Interesting. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on the official weigh-ins for UFC Fight Island 4, Holly Holm versus Irene Aldana. There is our partially updated results there. You guys can be keeping up with us. They'll be updated shortly. I'm just mentioning, I just want people to know that some of these people have weighed in. You guys can have that information shortly. But I'll just let you know, people, there have been no misses. Everyone's weighed in successfully. Mike, what is your assessment of the people you've seen so far? Anything? I can't recall anything. Looking at any sort of drama based on this, what we've seen in the scales. But what's your view on what we've seen?
Pretty easy peasy. All the veterans hits. The newcomers that have gone up so far have hit. The heavyweights, of course, hit. So far so good. Normally we have at least like 4 or 5 more fighters during this first wave, but it's a little worrisome. I was like, ooh, maybe this will be the one where we get it done in under an hour, but not the case. It looks
Not
like
today.
so.
Not today. Mike, I hope the story doesn't get cut off because I know we are. Oh, there we go. I'll save that.
There you go.
Welcome to Preacher's Daughter, Holly Holm.
One half of the main event coming up next. Holly Holm.
£136, the official weight for Holly Holm.
$136 for Holly Holm. So there we go. There's one half of your weight of an official. We are waiting on Irene Aldana. But other than that, again, that and Juliana Pena, that's remaining on the main card. We have several preliminary fighters still left to go, but everyone who has weighed in so far has successfully made weight.
Our next fighter to the scale in the lightweight division, Luigi Vendramini.
Luigi Vendramini stepping to the scale next.
£156, the official weight for Luigi Vendramini.
So Luigi Vendramini successfully making weight. Again, no drama so far this morning, people. So anyone hoping for any sort of drama, we have seen no towel. We have seen no box of shame. And this is a good thing. This is should be celebrating these moments. Yeah. So Mike, I did want to ask about Dequan Townsend. Of course, I know you mentioned he's fighting with a heavy heart this week. And I don't want the story to get cut off. We're on standby. Mike, go ahead. You mentioned earlier, Dequan Townsend, of course, fighting for the 4th time in the UFC, looking for his first win. But there's other things he's concerned about. Is that correct?
Yeah, in August, his 2 brothers were murdered in Michigan. They were shot to death, and just really sad stuff. They caught the guy, which I guess if we're gonna try to find some silver lining in the story, they caught the guy pretty quickly. But you got to imagine. I mean, this was less than 2 months ago. And he probably put pen to paper for this fight not long after that happened. And his scrum was really good for the media day. So if you want to go back into the YouTube archives and check that out, he sort of explains his reasoning as to why he took the fight and why he wanted to continue. He wanted to hold off his grieving until after he competes on Fight Island. So just really sad stuff. I mean, to lose one brother is just horrible, but to lose 2, I can't even imagine what this man's going through. But, that just shows you, the grit, the heart, the determination of a fighter that, you're willing to get locked into a cage with another man, a very dangerous, undefeated prospect in Dusko Todorovic with a heavy heart like that, because you just need that. You need that to help in the grieving process. So definitely go back and check out that scrum, because, he talks a lot about that. His back is against the wall here, having lost 3 in a row. So I guess good on the UFC as well for giving him another opportunity, all things considered, because when you come in and you drop 3 straight like that, you normally don't get another shot until you win a few on the regional scene. So maybe this is in such a sad way the motivation he needs to get a win, to have his brothers in his corner like that. And just sad stuff. I can't even imagine what he's going through.
Yeah, again, like you said, it's difficult enough just competing in the UFC, coming off of 3 straight losses, dealing with that. We have another fighter coming up.
Yep. And just like that, we have the towel of shame coming.
Oh no!
You did it.
I spoke it into existence. Sorry, Jose, who is this for?
This is Haley Alatang.
Haley Alatang. Okay.
£136, the official weight for Alatang.
Big sigh of
136.
relief there. 136. Big sigh of relief from Riley Alateng. I mean, somewhat of a sigh of relief for Kenny as well, his opponent. I'm sure Kenny wouldn't mind getting extra percentage, but this would have been like the third fight with kind of a weird weigh-in situation for Kenny. I think the first time he fought, I'm just looking back here, Ray Borg, of course, who's had problems making weight. So Ray Borg missed weight for Kenny's UFC debut. Kenny went on to win anyway and take a percentage of his purse. His second fight with Manny Bermudez was changed to a catch weight for both of them. So not really a case of Kenny's opponent missing weight, but definitely facing a larger opponent. I guess they both agreed, let's just not bother cutting an extra 5 pounds. But this would have been the third time if Alateng had missed weight that's something that Casey would have had to deal with, kind of a screwy weigh-in situation. So, and we still waiting for Kenny to arrive and weigh in himself. So, best luck to him. Best of luck to him there.
Other Arizona boy. Yeah, it's other Arizona boy, Casey Kenny. We got Kyler Phillips and Kenny.
And
Funnily enough, fun story about Kyler Phillips. This was, I think, back in December. Someone had invited me to watch the Joe Rogan stand-up in Phoenix, but it happened to be the same night as Overeem Jairzinho. So obviously I skipped Rogan to stay and work with you fine people, especially because Casey and Esther were on the scene, so we were going to have a lot of content. So they invited a bunch of people, went, and Kyler Phillips happened to be there, and that is where he met his current girlfriend randomly at a Joe Rogan stand-up in downtown Phoenix.
Wow. What a story to tell at their wedding when someday.
They are, and I know his girlfriend fairly well, and they are pretty much the same. Their wavelengths are the same when they talk. So I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
All right, we have got our weights up on the screen. Mike, do you want to run those down for everyone?
Sure. So we have Holly Holm weighing in at 136, still waiting on Irene Aldana. Jorgen De Castro and Carlos Felipe are official. 261 for Jorgen, 263 for Carlos. Jermaine Duranamy in at 136, still waiting on Juliana Pena. Kyler Phillips and Cameron Ellis both in at 136. Dequan Townsend and Dusko Todorovic, who wants to be the Novak Djokovic of MMA in Serbia, both in at 186. Carlos Condit, 171, taking on Court McGee, 170.5. That is official for the featured prelim. Joshua Kulibau, 145.5, still waiting on Charles Jourdain. Very much looking forward to that fight. Jordan Williams, making his UFC debut, weighs in at 182, still waiting on Nasruddin Imavov. What an interesting story and circle of that fight coming together. It's just weird and wild, but still waiting on Nasruddin. Loma Lukbunmi at 116, still waiting on Jinyu Fry. Casey Kenny still yet to weigh in. He will face Haley Alateng, who weighed in at 136, and still waiting on Jessen Ayari, who's taking on Luigi Vendaramimi at 156. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah. Yep. No drama so far, people. Everyone has successfully made weight. Just waiting for a couple of main card fighters. But yeah, we've got some really good looking matchups on here. We've talked about how I think it's fair to say that this card is, maybe lacking in recognizable names for most fans. But I think anyone who's seen some of these people fight before, there's some definitely intriguing prospect matchups. Also matchups between veterans who are kind of just getting their first shot in the UFC. I think Loma Lukbunmi, Jinyu Fry could be a really, really spectacular fight.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Especially if it stays on the feet. That's a fun one.
But what else are you looking at on the preliminary card?
I think the story of Jordan Williams versus Nasruddin Imavov is fascinating, because Jordan Williams was supposed to fight Jordan Wright on the Contender Series, and then Jordan Wright got the bump up to fight in the UFC, which Jordan Williams was like, what? How is this possible? Like, I've already fought in the Contender Series twice, but then he realized it was at light heavyweight, so he was like, all right, I'm okay with it. Nasruddin Imavov was supposed to fight Gregory Rodriguez on the Contender Series. Imavov got hurt and withdrew. Replacing him was Jordan Williams, who earned the contract, and now Imavov is going to fight Jordan Williams in both of their UFC debuts. And it's funny to see Jordan Williams weigh in under the limit by so much yet again. He was on What the Heck, talked about it. I said, you weighed in at 181. Was this like gamesmanship on your part? He goes, yeah, I want him to think like I naturally woke up and just got on the scale at 181 pounds when I still cut like 15 or 16 pounds. So it was a little bit of gamesmanship on his part to make his opponent feel like he's actually lighter than he actually is. So and he's doing it again here. He says he's happy at 85. He talked about moving down to 170 and doesn't plan on doing that anytime soon here because he feels good at 85. So there's no need for him to cut an extra 12 to 13 pounds. So should be a fun fight. I think the whole story of getting these two guys together is pretty funny.
Jordan Williams operating on another level, making that's, I don't know, most fighters, don't they want to make their opponent think that they're as big or bigger? I don't know if I've heard of someone saying that. I want to fool them into thinking that I'm smaller.
It's just, he's just a funny guy, that Jordan Williams. It's been a long run for him. Of course, he's got type 1 diabetes, and another cool story he told in our conversation is that there's a doctor who specializes like specifically in diabetes care who reached out to Jordan after the Contender Series fight and said, I'm going to hook you up with free insulin. I'm going to give you a 3-month supply. When you run out, I'm going to give you 3 more months for free. So now Jordan Williams has this like huge weight lifted off of his shoulders that he doesn't have to pay for any of this stuff, or he doesn't have to go to like Walmart and get like the cheap insulin. He can get like the good stuff, and it's given to him by a doctor who was touched by Jordan's story and the fact that he is now in the UFC and he worked his butt off to get there. So he doesn't have to worry about those costs anymore, which is huge for him.
So there you go. So that was Mike, that was his third Contender Series appearance?
That was his third one. His first one he finished. Yeah, his first one he finished really quickly.
Yes. But
didn't get a contract, which was super surprising. But then he popped for a marijuana test. But most of that was due because of the diabetes, and he couldn't use certain things, and he had medicinal marijuana that wasn't approved ahead of time by USADA. And then the second fight was just a ridiculous fight. It was one of the best Contender Series fights ever, which I thought Jordan won. And it was one of those fights where I kind of wish both guys got contracts, and I don't think either of them got contracts.
Neither did. I'm just looking now, yeah. That's strange. Yeah, so you like you said, so 3. Okay, we'll talk
bantamweight division. Right cameras. Please welcome Casey Kenny.
There's Mr. Casey Kenny. We'll talk about Jordan Williams more. He's a fascinating character. So, guys, we got more Jordan Williams facts coming for you. But we got big bantamweight prospect here, Casey Kenny.
Ooh, he's looking rough. I don't know if you can tell through the camera. That's not great.
136 pounds for bantamweight. This is weight for Casey Kenny.
136.
So Casey Kenny told me that his plan is to go out there and finish Haley Alatang quickly and then fight next week. He wants to stay on the island and fight again next Saturday because he has a feeling that one of these bantamweight fights are going to drop out. So that's his plan. He wants to win quick and then fight again on the island.
He's what we call a gamer in this business. I think that's fair. I think anyone who's seen Casey Kenny or heard any of his interviews, he's a gamer. That is for sure. I could definitely see that happening. Again, heaven forbid should anything happen to one of those fighters. But yeah, Casey Kenny, the kind of person definitely going to be on standby. Will fight anyone. He's had a lot of tough fights already.
I don't know what we're waiting on. I see someone ready to go.
Our next fighter to the scale in the women's bantamweight division.
Pena?
Please welcome Juliana Pena.
There you go.
$135.5 for Juliana Pena.
Juliana Pena, 135.5. Her opponent, Jermaine Durandamy, also successfully made weight. So that fight is official. So here we go.
First fight in 15 months for Juliana Pena.
Is it?
Yep. She was supposed to fight Aspen Ladd in March. The card got canceled anyways, but Pena had to pull out.
Our next fighter to the scale in the lightweight division. Yasin Ayari.
I got that name so wrong.
Is it Yasin?
I guess so.
For people listening, by the way, this is not John Anik reading the names, so I am, with respect to whoever's reading the names, I'm not 100% sure on the pronunciation, but we'll go with that for now. It is the UFC. I assumed it was just Yasin Ayari, but let's be respectful. So Yasin Ayari.
He's asking for the towel.
We are getting the towel, not the box of shame. Yari, another fighter who hasn't really been able to get in the cage too often.
156 pounds, the official weight for Yasin Ayari.
It was 156 for Yasin Ayari. He has not fought since October 27th, 2018. His last two fights against Stevie Ray and Darren Till. So, talented guy. It just has not been able to stay in the cage for various reasons. So, we'll see. We'll see if Saturday, gets things going for him. He's not old. He's only 28. He's 28 years young. So, still time for Yasin Ayari to get something going here. I believe we are just waiting now on 4 more fighters, including main eventer Irene Aldana. Now, where were we, Mike? We were talking about, I want to pick up on a thread. We were talking about Casey Kenny. What were we saying about Casey Kenny? Casey Kenny is a gamer.
He's a gamer, and he wants
That's pretty much it, I guess.
He wants to win and stay on the island and fight again. Fight multiple times.
Yes. Yeah. And definitely would not be surprised.
He did not look great on the scale just now.
Right. He got on there in a bit of a hurry. Too. I think it looked like Charles Jourdain.
Noted.
Will be delayed. On your toes.
Okay, just wait, guys. We're going to just jumped out of their seats for Charles Jourdain. It'll be a minute. Okay, it'll be a minute.
Wow.
So, Jose, what were you saying about Casey Kenny?
Didn't look great physically up there.
Yeah, and I was saying it looked like he wanted to get
what you didn't see is the towel was like his coach was holding the towel just in case. And when he hit that scale, I think I'd comfortably say most of Casey Kenny's amateur fights too in the Arizona scene, and I've never seen him so sucked out in my life.
He's a gamer though.
Also, Charles Jourdain right here.
There we go.
Yeah, I love Kenny. He's a gamer.
Which is interesting. His longest fight camp.
Scale in the featherweight division, Charles Jourdain.
Sorry, couldn't hear that. Mike.
No, for Kenny, because normally he fights on like a couple weeks' notice, 3-4 weeks. This is like 9 or 10 weeks since this fight was booked. So interesting to see.
Is it the first international fight, maybe? I mean,
that's true. It is
and your sleeping hours are totally flipped upside down over there. So
excellent point.
Oh, it's brutal. £145, the official weight for Charles Jourdain.
Championship weight.
105. 2 thrilling Canadian featherweight prospects in UFC right now, of course, along with Hakeem Dawodu on opposite coasts of my great nation, but both very, very talented guys. Someday they will meet. Someday they will meet for a UFC title, I'm sure.
Which coast is more Canadian?
Oh, definitely the East Coast.
Yeah. People always say that.
That's East Coast. Yeah, I mean they were talking about.
Yeah, get out of here.
It's true.
Everybody, take 5.
I was told to take 5.
Yes. All right. So, let's take a look at the weights we've got here. Mike, give us the rundown.
All right. Holly Holm in at 136, still waiting on Irene Aldana for the main event. Co-main event in the heavyweight division, Jorgen De Castro at 261 against Carlos Felipe at 263. The very pivotal women's bantamweight bout that should be the co-main event, like AK said. Jermaine Duranami at 136 taking on Juliana Pena at 135.5. Kyler Phillips and Cameron Else both in at 136. And the opening main card bouts between Dequan Townsend and Dusko Todorovic, 186 apiece. Featured prelim, Carlos Condit, 171, taking on Court McGee. He weighed in at 170.5. Joshua Kulabau, 145.5. He takes on Charles Jourdain, who was the last man to step on the scale, at 145. That fight is going to be a banger. Middleweight newcomers. Jordan Williams in at 182, still waiting on Nasruddin Imavov. Loma Lukbunmi in at 116, still waiting on Jinyu Fry, Casey Kenny and Haley Alatang, both in at 136. And Yesen Ayari, 156, taking on Luigi Vendormimi at 156.
Look at you nailing that pronunciation on Ayari. Sit up so fast. Yes, so that is the lineup as we have it. I just want to say for anyone out there checking like UFC.com, maybe type of Wikipedia, you're gonna see a different, I think, lineup. It's a little screwy. I would always recommend going to our site. Of course, we'll always have it correct, and the ESPN.com website. Their schedule usually has it correctly, but this should be the lineup. It is a 5-fight main card. I do see in some places that's a 4-fight main card with Kyler Phillips and Cameron Else not on the main card, but it is there. So the lineup, as you see it on our screen, that is the correct order as far as we know. Fingers crossed, as our own Jose Young always reminds us, nothing is really official until fight night rolls around and the fighters get into the cage. So let's hope everything just stays as it is right there.
What do you think of this main card starting at 10:30 Eastern time?
That's rough.
That's rough. Believe that.
Full disclosure to our viewers, I may not be watching this card, and so I may not be with you guys on this 10:30 Eastern time start time. So I apologize for not joining you guys tomorrow on this adventure. I'm sure it'll be a grand old time.
I heard you hate MMA now.
That's what people say.
Hate MMA.
That's what people say. I think I don't know which one. I can't recall which show. It must have been, maybe it was last week's weigh-ins, where I was probably making some comment about feeling slightly tired, maybe a little worn down by some of the cards, and then of course that made me a MMA hater, which couldn't be further from the truth. I love MMA. I love my job, but guys, we are in it. We're in it 24/7. Jose Youngs is in. You've been in Abu Dhabi for 2 weeks now, correct?
Over. A little over a week.
Little over.
Almost 2 weeks.
And you will be there
for
on
a Sunday, so I think this upcoming Sunday will make it 2 weeks.
And you'll be there for another 2 weeks.
3
weeks.
5 fight cards in 5 weeks, baby.
Yeah, so I cannot complain about anything. I mean, I'm sure Abu Dhabi's lovely. I'm sure, of course, it's awesome being on site and getting to cover the fights, but
I couldn't tell you, man. I'm going from one hotel to another. I have literally no idea. You've seen 28 Days Later, when like the streets are closed down. Like there's a main road here, and they have like barricades on each end, so no cars can come through. So it's literally like we could like have an entire football game on the field because no cars can go. There's no one here. The only people here are security guards, police officers, and people working the event. It feels like I'm in 28 Days Later, I Am Legend type status.
Is it better than the Four Seasons?
I've never been to the Four Seasons.
Oh,
so I couldn't tell you.
Dana was sorry, I was going by. Dana said the service out there is like just top notch. And he was talking about the wonderful, visit Abu Dhabi and everything. Are you experiencing that same,
the
4-star?
The workers at the hotel are absolutely delightful. I'm not going to lie. They all I've introduced myself to them once, like when I check in, and that was it. They all know me already. So it's pretty unbelievable. There's one I don't know any of their names. I feel very bad. They're all very, very, very nice. They all call me Mr. Jose, and it's like, hello.
How would you compare the experience to glamorous Jacksonville?
Oh my God, 1,000 times better.
Jacksonville's 1,000 times better than Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
No.
What?
That is inaccurate.
Have you found a box of knives in Abu Dhabi?
No, but I guarantee you, if I called room service to one, they'd probably make it happen. It's unbelievable. Like it's pretty unbelievable.
That's a tourism video right there. That's our. If you want a box of knives, go to Abu Dhabi.
It's very nice. I'm just like I think the other day, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I can't quite remember, but I was like, wow, this is the first time it really hit me that it's like I'm here for 4 more weeks. Because like normally, like what was it? Like I could go, I got a whole bunch of interviews with like the City Kickboxing boys before the UFC 253, and I didn't have any interviews lined up. So like I had my first like stretch of time where I wasn't working, and I was like, I can't go anywhere. I'm just gonna sit around my hotel room.
Yeah, it sounds surreal, honestly. Like when you put it that way, again, like I said, you've only been there for a couple of weeks, but
stand by. We were
okay. That's what I thought. Okay, 3 people left to weigh in. 3 people left to weigh in, including headliner Irene Aldana. So we'll see who's about to show up.
Who's it gonna be?
Who will it be? Could be Irene Aldana, it could be Nassourdine Imavov, or it could be Jim.
In the middleweight division, Nassourdine Imavov.
That's your answer.
so brutal.
$185 finalist for Nassourdine Imavov.
185.5, successful hit there. So his fight with the unfortunate Williams now official. Only waiting on 2 more fighters. Main event bantamweight Irene Aldana and prelim strawweight Jin Yu Fry, former Invicta FC atomweight champion. So I'm not expecting any problems. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, whatever superstition that you happen to believe in. I don't believe in any, frankly, but
Standby.
That's not
standby.
true.
Wait, is that a pause standby, or is that a standby someone else coming?
I don't know. Consult the crystals.
Oh, we don't need to do that. We don't. We believe we are not promoting junk science on today's episode. We are only promoting real things. You know, and look, to anyone out there who loves crystals.
Breaking
more
news!
power.
Breaking news! Sorry, just coming in. Seeing on Twitter, AK Lee, you can shut your mouth.
Wow.
You can shut your mouth, young man.
Is that? Did you get 2 sources on that? Is that confirmed, or is this just a rumor?
Yeah, 2 sources. My left fist and my right.
That's one of those.
Wow. Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary right there. Put me on blast.
That's one of those stories where the source is so accurate you don't need more than one.
Jeez Louise. I'm giving it to me. I want to talk more about Jose being stuck on in Abu Dhabi because thinking about that makes me happy. But but also the sick fights that you are Jose. Oh, sorry, Jose. Are you responding?
Yeah, I said I'm not in jail, so I'm not stuck.
Well, you said it's essentially like almost being like in a zombie apocalypse. It's so barren, but you got some sick fights coming up that you are going to get to see live next week. Marlon Rodice, Corey Sandhagen. That's friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
The week after that, what is going on? Why is my sorry?
We don't have to talk about that. But
we do have to talk about this fight. The fight that justifies your whole. You would stay in. I feel like you would have stayed in Abu Dhabi for 4 months if it meant that you would get to be front row or front and center, however close you are to the octagon for this fight. Brian Ortega and Korean Zombie on October 18th, which will be an amazing fight to which nothing will happen, and of course capped off by Khabib Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaethje.
Casey, if that fight falls apart, can you please go just physically go and find AK Lee for me? Just throw him into a lake.
There is no such thing as jinxes. There is no such thing as, we cannot curse fights. We should talk about.
Curse on you.
You can put a curse on me all you want. Again, you wave around your magic crystals and put a curse on me. Oh, I'm so scared. Mike, we want to talk more about Saturday's card, of course. But of the fights I just mentioned,
AK, let's turn the spice down. All right, AK. Jeez, man.
It is a Friday morning, and we are watching weigh-ins. It doesn't get better than this, guys. It doesn't get better. Sorry, my voice is cracking. Like we get some more bass back in.
Curse. I put it. My curse.
It's already started.
I can't. So for decency reasons, I can't cut away to other cameras, so at home. But AK has just took his shirt off and he's just banging his chest in his room right now.
Right. Yeah, because I'm feeling. And you can't see the other camera, but Jose is rubbing a piece of talc on his hand, which I think is cursing me. That's the lowest, by the way, on the Mohs scale of hardness. So I think the deadliest voodoo crystal that you can use on someone. Let's talk about the fights. Mike, I do want to have, but also since I just brought up the upcoming schedule of some of those fights coming up, what are you most excited for? Again, I mentioned Rodney Sandhagen, I mentioned Zombie and Ortega, and I mentioned Nurmagomedov and Gaethje. I guess the answer might be obvious, but I don't know. Is it one of those three fights? Is it something else that I'm forgetting?
I mean, it's definitely Khabib and Gaethje. That's the circle on the calendar for sure. I mean, all of them are good. I mean, all those main events are good. They're all very important. Obviously the title fight's huge, but the featherweight fight between Ortega and Korean Zombie is a very important fight. The winner of that is probably fighting Alexander Volkanovski next. That's the way Volkanovski views it. That's who he's got his eye on. So, I mean, all of those are just really big-time fights. But obviously, Khabib versus Gaethje, especially after the virtual media day yesterday, it was. I'm fired up for it. Definitely fired up for all of them.
Yeah, I think that was very smart of them to do that virtual media day yesterday. Get that advanced hype going, because again, they're not quite able to hype it up through traditional means given the circumstance we're living in. So anything you can do to remind people that this momentous historic fight is happening, and just matching could be one of the best title fights ever. I think you have to get the people know. So people, if anyone missed that special media day that had Khabib Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaethje, and also of course title bout reserve Michael Chandler, please head to MMAfighting.com, head to our website, or head to our YouTube page and check those out. There was a lot was said. Justin Gaethje had some particularly fiery things to say about one Mr. Colby Covington, a man whose name comes up quite often. Mike, what did you think of that? What did you think when he was asked, because they had spent time together at that recent Trump rally, and he said he had quite the turnaround on Colby afterwards, after seeing some of Colby's comments. So what did you think of that whole situation?
I'm not surprised that he said that. I'm surprised that he said it at that point, because the question was so friendly. It was the friendliest question. Oh, what did you think? You got to hang out with Colby Covington. What was that? And Gaethje just coming out and spitting that venom right away. I was like, ooh, I didn't see that coming at that moment. Normally, when the questions are asked, you're poked and prodded a little bit, but not this one. I don't think the reporter from Japan even expected the answer like that. You could hear him laughing as he was giving the answer, because he's like, oh my God.
Was it Japan? I think it was China.
China. I'm sorry.
It might have been
China. My apologies.
China.
My apologies.
Yeah.
But it was fire. He said, as a man, I want to go up and smack him right across the face. So maybe there you go, planting some seeds. Gaethje versus Covington, perhaps.
The seed.
Why not, right? And I've heard that Chinese reporter on some of these calls before, and he probably works for. I imagine he doesn't work for a hardcore MMA outlet. So I think he was just, like you said, brought it up, kind of just trying to get a quote for some a light story, and then he ended up getting one of the spiciest quotes of the week. So very, very strong words from Justin Gaethje, which I don't even want to repeat here. I think they were so not offensive, but very strong. And again, you can find that on MMAfighting.com and watch it on yourself for YouTube. But it's kind of a funny thing. One of those seemingly softball questions.
We would not have been able to monetize that if we put that quote in.
Thank you, Jose. That's the best way of putting it. Not offensive, but not monetizable comments. So you guys can You guys can definitely check that out for yourselves.
There were no swear words, but there were some other words that I don't want to say over the
strong comparisons.
Compared him to some unsavory individuals that will find themselves in jail.
Yes.
Jose, I want to ask you, because again you're on site. Is there anyone on this card that you'll be seeing for the first time in person? I assume you've seen Carlos Condit fight live before.
Million times.
So obviously I wouldn't count him. Is there anyone you're seeing for the first time that is kind of cool? Like, oh, I get, I'm getting to see this person for the first time, and because you see different things. So is there any name first timer you're seeing live that's got you really excited?
Loma Luke Bunmi, I've been a fan of for a long time, especially from her Muay Thai days.
Stand by, everybody.
We got to stand by. I think I've seen every single fighter on the main card. Seen even Kyla Phillips fight on the amateur circuit. So I always I selfishly love watching for him. So Loma Luke Bunmi. There you go, Jin Yu Frey.
£116, the official weight for Jin Yu Frey.
116 for Jin Yu Frey. That is not one I am giving our man on the scene there. Now we're just waiting for a headliner, Irene Aldana. Everyone else has weighed in. You guys can see the weights on screen. Jin Yu Frey, again, a former Invicta atomweight champion. What do you guys think about? Casey, are you there? Truck, is this Truck there?
Yes, I'm here.
Truck. Okay, well, I want to get your input on this, but again, if you want to remain the silent master, you may do so. But I want you to get your opinion on here, Casey. Atom weights in the UFC. Should we see it?
Absolutely. Yes,
why do you think they're reluctant to do so?
No clue. I figured they have a spreadsheet and they don't want. Because well, we only made so many columns. We can't add another column. So
don't bring up those spreadsheets again, please. Please don't. Yes, for anyone who wasn't with us in the weigh-ins last week, we talked about how the matchmakers organize their rankings and their weight classes, and there's a big spreadsheet, and to deviate from that spreadsheet could be disaster. But Mike, what's your take on possibly having atom weight? I don't think it's been discussed. I'm sure I know some of the fighters who have come up from Invicta have sort of been asked about it maybe, but otherwise I don't think there's been any official discussion. What do you think about bringing another division into the UFC?
I mean, if we're gonna add another division, I would have rather than add atomweight over the women's featherweight division. I mean,
yes.
Agreed. Look where we're at now. I mean, there's so many high-level atomweights, and there's some fighting at 115 in the UFC right now that could be there. Like the Michelle Watersons of the world could fight at 105. It can be done. There's lots of talents, especially.
I don't think Michelle's gonna make 105 anymore.
Oh no, well, she's been building up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe not like today, but. She's even said over the last year or so that she would, but I mean she wants to fight at 115. She loves the division now. She's fallen in love with it because of how competitive and how exciting it is. But I mean there's a ton of exciting atomweights out there just all over the world, especially in Invicta. It's just such an exciting division. I don't think it'll be what 115 is right now, but it'd be automatically the second or third most exciting women's division without even having a fight on it.
Do we worry at all, though, that it would become sort of almost like the female version of the men's flyweight division, which was neglected, I would say, promotionally for a while, but also there was a perception, I think, from the fans. A lot of fans could never get over because it was the smallest division, and I think some people just couldn't get over that. And I'm glad the division's still around, but people still have this stigma around it that it's the fights aren't exciting, which is insane. It's just people just don't pay attention. But do you think?
I also think what they would have, they would be behind the eight ball, considering if we post, and we all like Invicta and we all think Invicta is awesome and stuff, but you've all seen the comments when any female fight. It's tuning off for this one, which is just so disappointing. So the fact that it would be an incredibly light female weight class would just, I don't know, it would be hard. I think it would be hard to sell, and it's unfortunate because there's it would be so awesome. It would be so awesome. Well, I should rephrase.
I feel all that was said about 115.
Let me rephrase. I don't think it would be hard to sell. I just don't know if the UFC would know how to sell it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Casey, you mentioned 115. They've actually done a really good job, I think, of promoting 115. I think they've also been blessed with some really good.
When we brought those in, everyone's like, "Oh, 115s are so small," 135s are so small. Everyone's it's like it's better to like you're gonna say even if they bring him in, they neglect him. You know what though? They're still in though.
Yeah.
If it's this throwaway division, I mean, maybe it would take off some of the criticism that the women's 25ers get, the 125ers get.
Maybe. The 115ers, though, I will say they had the benefit of what I think was a really solid Ultimate Fighter season. Yes, people, there was an Ultimate Fighter season past like 15. All right, this is Ultimate Fighter 20, and they had some names that were like sort of somewhat known. It was a really good season for MNC, but Carlos Barza was on there, Joanne Calderwood, Jessica Payne, Felice Herrig, of course, I'm a veteran, Rose Namajunas, a then unknown Angela Hill, so people didn't really know who she was then, but there was some star power there. So it had the benefit, and of course they were lucky that Joanna, who was not on the show, but was someone who became a star immediately after that division was established. Paige Van Zandt was in there, so they had some name power to work with. I don't know if Atom Weight would have that benefit. Again, I'm with you guys. I do think they should add another division. I don't think there's any harm in it. But like Jose mentioned, I do think that the UFC would struggle to make it a marketable thing. So I somewhat understand the trepidation.
But that's what the Ultimate Fighter does. It creates stars, man. Rose Namajunas wasn't a star before Tough, man.
She was not a star, but again, she would have more name value than I think a lot of the Atom Weights out there.
That
are out there. Yeah. Felice Herrig was definitely someone. Again, Felice Herrig was in a video game. Felice Herrig was in the EA Sport. Was a prominently featured. I think the EA Sports UFC. Not EA. I'm sorry, EA Sports MMA game. If you guys remember that. So there was like a fringe. There was like a fringe knowledge of a lot of those fighters who were on the Ultimate Fighter 20. More so than there would be, I think, any bantamweights out. Any atomweights out there. So, Case, do we have any questions? I'm sorry. I know we solicited for questions a while ago. Anything catch your eye that we can answer?
Nothing with there's no questions with any bit of maturity. No.
Any substance. Step it up, people. YouTube comments. I expect so much better from you. I'm not even mad. I'm disappointed. So I'll use that comment to Oh, okay. There's a good one. Jose, is Angela Hill? Do you think Angela Hill is going to end up fighting in Fight Island?
No, I do not. I think she's been teasing a fight that's I think November, so it'd be post Fight Island. Plus she's pretty locked in on doing the desk duty stuff, so I don't even think she's even. Well, actually, no, I was talking to her around that media day thing, and she was saying because Paul Felder's training for a triathlon or Ultraman or whatever it is, so he's been jogging and biking and swimming like crazy all week, and Angela Hill said that Paul Felder talked her into going for a run at 1 a.m. over here. So I don't know how much she's training, but I know for sure she's at least getting cardio in all these midnight jogs with Paul Felder.
Is she just doing a desk analysis, or do we know is she doing any? She's not doing any live in-fight commentary, is she? Okay.
No, she's not. She's just doing the desk with Karen and whoever else. But she was there at the media day. With Brendan Fitzgerald, Dan Hardy, Paul Felder, Karen.
It's great that they see the asset they have in Angela Hill. I think she's she's very good with dealing with the media, and I think also dealing with fans. She's very active on social media as well. So I think that's exactly the kind of person you want front and center, commenting on fights and doing that sort of thing. So nice to see. So sorry guys, no, we do not think that she'll be fighting on Fight Island. Before that question came up, I was gonna segue into the John Jones Israel Adesanya nastiness. I think it's silly. I just saw Mike Heck roll his eyes. Very, very so Mike, I do want to go to you. It got really nasty overnight. Again, this is another thing that if you guys want to check it out yourselves, we didn't even want to write about it. But overnight, Izzy and John Jones once again it's become even more juvenile and I think offensive to some people. But again, mileage may vary. That's a conversation we've had about multiple fighters over the last few weeks. So, Mike, what do you make of this budding social media feud we have going on here? Did you see the latest comments?
I haven't seen the ones from this morning. Like I jumped on Twitter and I was like, oh my God, I just saw Adesanya post like 2 hours ago. So I was like, I can't believe this is still going on.
Oh yeah.
But listen, I wouldn't.
It's not great.
It's not great.
What's going? I don't like it. I agree with fellow journalist Ariel Helwani. There's 3 things you don't talk about: family, religion, and race. Like, keep all that out of the trash talk. Both of these gentlemen have played all of those cards throughout this. Some or all.
Did you see Izzy's tweet from an hour ago?
I did not. Maybe I will look
It's
it up
not
now.
the greatest. I'll read it to you. It
Please
says,
do.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of side tweets. He clowns me about believing in cartoon characters, yet he pretends to be a Christian and reads the watered-down version of the Bible.
Oh.
Haha, the irony. You don't know God, Jonathan.
Okay, that's going to go over well with a lot of people.
Not great. Not great.
That's going to go over well with a lot of people. We have to discuss it. Go ahead.
I mean,
Mark.
if I actually thought this fight would happen anytime soon, I wouldn't be as just like eye-rolly about it. But I just don't. I don't think this fight happens like anytime soon. Like, you could plant and I'm all for like planting seeds, but doing it nonchalantly, I guess. I don't think the UFC is gonna go in this direction to pair these 2 guys up. So it's just getting borderline ugly, and there's not going to be any sort of finish to it anytime soon.
You know what I think has a higher possibility is if Izzy fights and beats Jan, and John drops back down to light heavyweight. That's the only possible. Like, I don't think they're going to fight anytime soon, but I think obviously there's a belt on the line for that. That's the biggest possible fight they can make right now. I think we can all agree. Out of any weight class, this is probably the biggest fight they can make right now. And how much bigger could it get is adding a belt. And if Izzy does jump, it's similar to like when DC and just jumped up to fight Stipe like right away. Well, not right away, but you know what I mean. They fought on the same card and then had that quick turnaround to July and fought. I think we could see that in a similar style of Izzy and Jan fighting each other later on.
I just don't know. Like, it's because Israel is always like, I want to just run through everybody in my division first, and then we'll talk about moving up. Like, I want to be the middleweight champion that just picks up all these contenders. Yeah. So to have him jump up and fight Jan, who hasn't even defended his title yet, against a 205er, yeah, I think the UFC would do it in this day and age because, Israel is money, and giving him the chance to win a second title would be big. But I just don't know if they pull the trigger on that just yet, or if it's just the best idea overall. I want to see that fight at some point. I think we wait, we let it build, but then you risk it because if John goes to heavyweight and loses, is the fight still big enough? Is it still there? Does the luster wear off a little bit? So, I mean, I guess I'm torn whether we know it's the biggest fight, but do we want to see it now or do we want to build it up more? That's why I don't know anything about the industry and the business side of things, because what are they thinking right now? I have no idea. I have no idea how they're looking at these 2 guys right now. Is Dana and the matchmaker sitting in a room saying, you know what, how can we make this fight happen right now? Or are they shaking their heads like the rest of us, being like, I can't believe this is happening. Stop talking like this on Twitter.
They're absolutely not saying that part. Absolutely not. I'm about to go ahead and stop you on that.
Dana White does not censor people, Mike. All right, Dana White and the UFC never censors people. Okay, they are all about who is more about free speech than they are, as to paraphrase the UFC boss.
The only thing
so go ahead, Casey.
The only thing that's keeping this fight not from happening is simply just how much these guys want. Yes. If these guys both say, "Oh, I'll fight John Jones for $50,000," yeah, of course the UFC is gonna make it. But they're not. But Izzy said himself, he was like, "I'm gonna make." He hasn't talked about it in this camp because no one's really asked him, but he said multiple times, I'm going to make Floyd Mayweather money in MMA. I don't have to go to boxing. I don't have to do anything. I'm going to make it in MMA. And dude, if somehow he can be a 2-division champ and John Jones comes back to get his 205 belt back against Izzy as a 2-belt champion, dude, who knows? I mean, that could be. I mean, is there a bigger fight in MMA?
No, definitely not. That would immediately become number one. You mentioned Casey. You mentioned Izzy started talking about Floyd want to make Floyd Mayweather money. I believe, one of his tweets overnight was responding to a report that the card may have done the equivalent of something like 700,000 pay-per-view buys, and he quote tweeted that and said, "I just want people to know, like, my disclosed pay is not all my pay." So I think he's suggesting he got a big chunk of that pay-per-view money, and who knows, it maybe is rolling in dough right now and on the hunt for bigger fights.
Who's Izzy managed by?
Mike.
Who's Izzy managed by?
Yeah.
Same managers as
Yeah.
So John Morgan calls me over and he's like, Irene's out, jumping in, and I was like, John, I'm about to get you.
Sorry, Jose. What did he say?
He was just a joke. He was like, Irene's out, Michael Chandler's stepping in, and I was like, John.
Oh my gosh.
Chandler's stepping in. All right.
He played it off so nonchalant. He's like, hey man, Irene's out. I was like, what?
What a cut up.
Reminiscent of Kamar and weighing in as a backup for Darren Till Woodley, and then jokingly volunteering to fight Valentino when Nika Montana fell out.
But yes, the Jones Adesanya ugliness. Look, it's a fight we all want to see. It's a cliche to say it, but it is a fight that sells itself, which is what makes all this nastiness just so unnecessary. I know people will say, "Oh, well, this is what people want to see. People outside of MMA want to see," and it's what brings in the casual. It was like, I really wouldn't. It really wouldn't matter in this situation. These two guys have fairly dynamic personalities as it is. They know how to get people talking in more civil and I think interesting ways than this. So, but go ahead, people, judge for yourselves. Go check out their individual, of course, social media accounts. But it got. I cannot keep saying it got really nasty and really personal. And as you guys mentioned, they touched upon family, race, religion in really juvenile ways. And just ways that I don't think are helpful to anyone selling a fight, and just kind of just make the sport look bad. So maybe again, maybe I'm clutching my pearls too tight. Listen, no one will ever take my pearls, guys, because I'm clutching my pearls tightly at all times. Okay, so I make no apologies for it. I love the wild side of the sport for sure, but I also think that there's this kind of stuff can happen within reason.
Question for Casey.
Ahead,
Casey,
hit him.
Who do you favor? Izzy or John Jones? Like, if they were to fight, if they booked this fight and they were going to fight in February, like it's on the books, it's happening, who are you favoring?
Just throwing it out
the
there.
The John Jones that has shown up the last couple of fights would absolutely, I feel, lose to Izzy at 205.
Yeah, but it's weird to think about because I think I still could put John pound for pound best, the second best fighter who ever lived. But if he is just hyper motivated to tear Israel Adesanya's arm off, that could be a terrifying night for Israel Adesanya.
But we're going into a motivated John Jones. That's what we're saying now. We're already getting him in that kind of that BJ Penn. Like, well,
I don't know.
Well, we don't know. We're at the point where we don't know the John Jones that shows up on fight night. Where we know Izzy shows up on fight night.
Yeah.
So, like I said, John's been in this game a long time. I mean, not as long as Izzy, but he's been in these big high profile fights for a long time. So it's a lot of wear and tear mentally.
This, like when he fought Gustafsson, he's like, I only practice boxing. I didn't do anything else. Like when he fought Dominic Reyes, he didn't have his wrestling coach for his whole camp. So we've seen John I don't want to say take him lightly, but like not put in the necessary work for specific fighters. And then you saw when Dom and Alexander Gustafsson like trains their butt off to fight the best fighter on the planet, and then they go in there and they put on the performance of a lifetime, and John still just like squeaks them out barely, just based off of his overall talent as a mixed martial artist. But like you saw him shoot on Dominic Reyes, and he couldn't get the takedown, and that's just like 5-6 weeks of no wrestling and doing only stand up. And Dom, I guarantee you, probably worked his butt off and working on his wrestling defense specifically for John Jones. So,
but that's on John though.
I don't know. That's what.
But that's what I mean. That's on John. That's part of staying a champion. That's what I mean. But that's part of staying a champion. And he's just. I don't think he's at that same. I don't think he's the same guy that we think he is.
And to be fair, Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith, and Tom Reyes are not going to bring the same eyeballs as Israel Adesanya. So if he is if this quote motivated John Jones is a real thing, which I don't want to say it is. I think Izzy's the one guy that's going to get him hyper motivated.
I'm seeing some comments. Obviously, Hermanson beats Izzy. Gegard Musashi would destroy Izzy. Easy.
I want to
easy, boys.
Actually,
I would love to see
at middleweight, that is a fight I want to see so bad.
Motivated. I think Chael beats Izzy. I think I see.
A motivated Chael. Okay.
Obviously, I mean Chael's undefeated. That's not even fair.
It's very impressive. No one talks about that enough.
How Chael's never lost a round.
It's insane, actually. Like I've been working in MMA for over a decade, and I've seen even the best fighters lose rounds. Chael Sonnen never once. It's crazy. Even when he got knocked out, didn't lose a round. It was a wild. It's remarkable, to be honest.
Some shaky judging there, but they gave him the round still.
MMA.
He did a lot of good work. Motivated John Jones, I assume now joining the the roster of mythical MMA creatures, along with, of course, the motivated BJ Penn, the spiritual successor to motivated John Jones.
C-Level Kane.
C-Level Kane.
What are some other ones you got?
Throw out your favorite mythical MMA creatures in the comments, people. I'm sure you guys know more than we do, but yes, there's always another level that these fighters can go to.
A mature Gaethje.
Featherweight Keller. Mature Gaethje. Focus Gaethje and featherweight Keller.
Fifth round Robbie Lawler.
I can't wait till we see wrestling Gaethje. I can't wait till we see D1 Gaethje. There you go. That's what I'll call him. If he just takes Nurmagomedov down in the first 2 minutes, I will just be like, yes, this is the fight I wanted.
What was the original one? Was the look in his eye, Chuck Liddell?
Yeah.
Mike Goldberg.
Yeah.
The look in his eye.
I'm seeing TRT Vitor. That is not a mythical creature, for the record.
That is a deity, right?
And it was legal at the time.
That is a demigod.
Oh, this was a good one. This was a good one for a while. Dad Cerrone. For a while there. That
didn't last very long, though.
It didn't last long, but there was a Dad Cerrone, and also people don't know, Canada Cerrone. There was a moment where he was undefeated in Canada for a while. That I believe that stopped. But he was on quite a run.
Guilherme Cruz wants to add, in Brazil, one of the best mythical fighters is Shogun with white trunks.
Oh.
White trunk Shogun.
That's a good one.
Someone says positive Alexander K. Lee. Guys, again, that is not a myth. That's me all the time, so that is normal. Living Death Shamrock. All right. Is that a good? Wait, that's a bad mythical creature, right? He lost all those fights with Tito, so I don't know. I don't think that's a good one.
He lost them all badly too.
Yeah. There's of course a very.
One of them was a goofy stop. I think the second one was a goofy stoppage.
Yeah. But I mean, Tito was going to beat him 10 times out of 10 anyway.
A Living Death was the first fight, and Tito just beat him down for the entire fight. Shamrock landed a couple shots, but
people brought that up recently, of course, because of all this stuff that's come up with we've been covering a lot of on the site. Us in the so-called MMA media have been kind of talking about these controversies with did Colby Covington cross the line, Israel Adesanya crossed the line with his post-fight celebration. So a lot of people, that was one example of bringing it up. Well, was it okay when Shamrock said, "I will beat you into a living death"? Like that was not that's the sport has always been like this. Like, where do we when do we draw? And it's a fair question. It's a fair question. Frank Mir saying he's going to kill Brock Lesnar. Mike, I'm sure you've had to comment on this multiple times, but as this situation progresses, again, we just mentioned the Jones Adesanya thing. What's your take on kind of this? We've seemingly increasing coverage when it comes to fighter behavior.
I mean, it goes along with the growth of the sport. I mean, it just kind of shows you that, especially in 2020, where for a long time the UFC was like the only game in town, a lot of these things are covered more and made more important than they were maybe a year ago or 2 years ago. And plus, some of these personalities are starting to shine a little bit more and have been given the limelight more than they would have maybe a year or two ago. So I think it's with the growth of the sport comes, new fans, new interests, things that may not have been at the top of the list 2-3 years ago are now made more important now. It's just the growth and the evolution of the game and the fans that take part in it. Honestly. Oh, we got movement.
We do have movement. We could have. Do we? Jose, what are you seeing there?
No, we don't.
We have a guy on the stage.
Movement.
Well, someone physically moved.
Oh, I guess you're wrong. You're not wrong. He just picked up the microphone.
Oh, okay.
Great analysis there, guys.
Thank you.
We really broke that down.
We broke the story.
We really broke that down.
I'm 11,000 miles away.
Yeah, you saw movement, and then the movement was confirmed by Jose. A microphone has been picked up. Yes, Truck, the microphone has been picked up.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Gentleman with the UFC polo and the UFC mask stands on the stage. That is movement.
We could be finished with weigh-ins pretty early. Mike, you said you thought we might have quick weigh-ins, and I was doubtful after we were in standby pretty early. I think in the first 15 minutes we already had our first standby, and I was concerned. But if this gets done now with like 40 minutes remaining, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, I thought we might have gotten to the hour mark. We had like 7 minutes to go, just waiting on Aldana. But she's she's enjoying the extra rest.
Yeah, this is also a good sign if she's showing up early, because it probably means she's a success, assuming she's not trying to game the system like one Mr. Zubaira Tukugov last week, who we think may have. I think it was Jose or Casey. You guys were pretty strongly against that kind of behavior.
Everybody stand by.
There we go. Stand by.
Jose, do we see a towel or a box of shame?
Nope.
Nope. Please welcome Irene Aldana. £136, the official weight for Irene Aldana.
I think she was just taking her time.
Yep. No, if you're gonna make it, what's the rush, right?
Thank you, everybody. Back here for the face-offs at the top of the hour.
Face-offs, top of the hour.
Okay, so you guys, that's 40 minutes to go, people. You have a lot of time. Will we be staying with this stream, Truck?
Ooh, that's a long time. No, we'll probably. I don't know. We'll throw in the hold music. I'm not gonna sit here and jibber jabber for 45 minutes.
But I mean, should viewers?
We can all take a coffee break.
Of course.
I say we keep the stream here. We put up a coming back soon, and then
right.
we'll have the weigh-ins uploaded and the weigh-in highlights and the stare downs uploaded later. And we put the hold music on. We can all go get coffee.
Yeah.
Jose. So, for anyone again who couldn't hear that, we stay here for the stare down stream coming at the top of the hour, so in about 40 minutes. If we change plans, keep your eyes on the MMA Fighting Twitter. We'll definitely keep you guys updated if we choose to go to another stream. But thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jose, on site. Thank you, Casey, in the truck, as always. And I'm Alexander Cayley. Thank all you guys for joining us. Sorry we couldn't get to more of your questions, but hey, make your questions better next time. Let's be real here. So,
Damn.
So weigh-ins in about 40 minutes, guys. 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Casey, confirm? Can we confirm that, Truck?
What are you asking me?
8. It'll be at 8 a.m. Pacific Time.
Yeah, 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern.
And I think like 12:30 in the morning. Abu Dhabi. No, I don't know what's going on at Abu Dhabi time, but they are.
It is 6:20 p.m.
6:20. Oh, it's perfect. Lovely part of the evening. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. Stick around for the stare downs, top of the hour. So thanks again, everybody.
You can mute your mics, guys.
Are you hitting it with the music right now?
Yeah.
Does your mic have like a battery note, like light, so you know if it's dying or not? That's the only thing I like about this is the light. If it's at 100% or 1%, it's the same. And I get paranoid it'll die.
Yeah.
So I change the battery out every 5 minutes. Not bad.
Safe as all right, man.
Also, John, we're going to live stream the weigh-in. I know you're probably not going to say anything, but this mic is going to be hot. Oscar, yeah. Oscar, this mic is hot. We're streaming the weigh-in. Just let it see if the light. You were very loud last
How about that for your live stream?
you have any fights?
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying like American food.
You're calling in, guy?
Oh yeah.
That's incorrect.
Hopefully they were pretty inside the food.
Oh, well, I would hope so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They were deep in.
Getting past if they were drunk. That's it. you're good. You're good, man. You're good. It's fine.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight. We have 11 fights tomorrow night. UFC President Dana White here to stare off 22 athletes. We start on ESPN Plus 3:30 a.m. local time, 7:30 Pacific, 4:30 Pacific time. Our first bout is in the lightweight division. Luigi Vendramini takes on Yesin Ayari. Our next bout is in the bantamweight division. Casey Kenny takes on Alatong Haley. Up next, we're in the women's strawweight division. Loma Lubumi takes on Jin Yu Fry. And up next, we're in the middleweight division. Jordan Williams takes on Nasruddin Imavov. A featherweight bout is next. Charles Jourdain takes on Josh Cooleybow. And what a matchup in our featured prelim at welterweight. Carlos Condit is back, and he takes on Court McGee. Our 5-fight main card is simulcast on ESPN and ESPN Plus starting at 10:30 Eastern. Kicking it off in the middleweight division, Dequan Townsend takes on Dusko Todorovic. A bantamweight bout is next. Kyler Phillips takes on Cameron Else. Up next, top 5 contenders square off in the women's bantamweight division. Germaine Durandamy takes on Juliana Pena. Our co-main event is in the heavyweight division. Yorgan De Castro takes on Carlos Felipe. And 5 rounds in our main event in the women's bantamweight division, the former champion Holly Holm takes on Irene Aldana. Once again, Holly Holm and Irene Aldana, our 5-round main event. Thanks for coming out, everybody. We will see you for the fights.